Hello, I'm Dan Fogler, and you're watching Invest Comics TV. This is my graphic novel, Moonlight. Check it out.
So this is Crystal Storm with Invest Comics, and I am talking to Andrew Czar. He is the creator of Darkbrain, which is a completely awesome site. Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I like that intro. Well, Darkbrain is a project I started that takes graphic novel art and adds music and voice to it. So it's a new experiment in webcomics. And in so doing, we wanted to create something very different than what people normally see in webcomics. And I did start small. I know it's hard to believe, but I started small. And I know. And it grew real quick because I got Ernie Chan into the project, and all of a sudden it just mushroomed up. So suddenly we're doing 15 series, and we have 500 pages of art up, and lots of voice and music and everything else. It's really interesting. So what we've done is we add all this content is free, and because we want people to see it and enjoy it and have fun.
Right.
And then we do have membership options to help us make more comics that we offer. And in that vein, what we have is the same stories, but with some extras thrown in. So that's the basic premise of what we're doing.
Yeah.
What we hope to accomplish is that people will find these stories very interesting and unusual. We have a writing team that's different than normal. We have new artists, some established, some brand new, a lot of different things going on. So we really want people to take a look.
It's exciting. It really is. And what I love about it, too, is not that it's just a comic site, but that the comics are being read to you by these voice actors. And that's really amazing. I think it really sets it apart from everything else. So,
Thanks. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one of the things that I was told, you get a lot of advice when you start something like this, and you have to understand which advice you should follow and which you shouldn't, and you always look back at the advice that you didn't follow. I wish I did follow that one. But you never know. But one of the things I was told often was, don't bother with music, don't bother with voice, just make comics because that's what people do and that's what people understand. And I didn't want to do that. It's not what it's about. So I've always gravitated towards trying to show the voice, trying to show the sound. So now we're making them into actual movie files, which play on anything. So there's no barrier. There's no flash need or big screen needs, things like that. So in that sense, we're trying to show what we're actually doing, which is the different kind of hybrid from what people are used to seeing.
It absolutely is. It really is. And I think it really adds something to the story, too, when you have, voices behind the inflections of the comics. And it really gives it that almost like movie quality, even though you're reading a comic, which is really awesome.
Right.
Now, how did you manage to get some of the voice talent? Because you've got some famous people doing the voices.
Yeah. Well, we started all amateur. And what happened was we got some comics up, and we opened up. And then because of DeviantArt, where we have a presence there with 300 pieces of art, and we're posting stuff all the time on a weekly basis, but we got discovered by Tabitha Stevens' husband. So he was reading a comic, and then she walked in the room and said, "What's that?" And then next thing you know, within 2 weeks, she's starring in one of our comics. So I actually went back and we retroed her into the series Mirror Mirror. And so that got her into the site. And then she was able to bring a rock star, Tony Campos, in, and another adult film star, Raylene. So suddenly we started to grow with this because it offers them a way to participate in graphic novels that you don't have anywhere. So it's really kind of interesting. So they can get into the characters, they can use their voice to show stuff, and so it's very fun for them. They've had a great time with it.
I bet. And some of the comics are just completely, utterly interesting, and they're just fun. They really are. It's just a lot of fun. So, and they definitely bring that added thing. So you started out small and you're ballooning, and I believe you're getting even bigger. I hear a dark mobile digital coming out soon now?
Yeah, what we're doing now is right now everything's Flash, and so people can go with their desktops and see everything. And then by February 1st, we're opening up the mobile component. So now if you go to the site on a mobile device, an iPad or an iPhone or an Android or anything that plays movies, PSP, you'll automatically get to the screen of movies now, and you can watch all the comics on that device. So you don't need Flash, you don't need anything else. They're just movie files. And for the first time, we're allowing downloads. So now you can take the comic and put it on your device and take it with you, and there's no logins or things needed for that. So we're really going even more open. So every stage we try to make it more and more easier for people to see and have fun with them.
You're doing a really good job. So now we can't just get it on the website. We can get it on our iPads and all these other cool Apple devices that everybody's got now.
Yeah, and the way I see it, because I was a comic fan in the 80s, so I'm kind of old school, and I kind of fell out of love with comics in the late 80s. So for me, I'm more of a movie fan now than a comic fan if you really put them up together. So for me, mixing them together makes a lot of sense to me. So I want people to see that and have fun with it. But yeah, they're really interesting, and I hope people take a look. They are PG-13 and up, so it's not really for kids.
Right.
It was never intended to be. This is kind of like the heavy metal genre. That's what we're shooting for.
You do definitely get that feel for it. You do. It comes across, but it's still a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting that when I went to the site. I wasn't sure what to expect. Just the comic book site, whatever, kind of cool. And then oh my God, it's talking to me. So it just made it a lot of fun.
Good, yeah. We struggled early with whether or not voice should start automatically. And
wow.
The overwhelming answer was no, but we knew that if we don't do that, people won't even know that they have it. So we compromised with this big screen pops up saying, do you want sound? Please pick sound.
Right. That's a good compromise. Andrew, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a really quick break, and then we come back. We're going to continue this awesome discussion.
Okay.
Here's a riddle for you. What do the California gold rush of the 1850s, secret societies, coded messages, mysterious 19th century flying machines, and an early 20th century outside artist named Charles A.A. Delshaw all have in common? The Secrets of Delshaw by Dennis Crenshaw and Pete Navarro. Go to www.secretsofdelshaw.com to learn more.
All right, everybody, we are back. We are talking to Andrew Czar, the founder of Darkbrain Comics. My next question for you, Andrew, is Invest Comics TV actually just recently interviewed Sissy Pantelis and Everett Soares. So how many other writers and artists how can they get involved?
Oh, that's a great question. Our studio is really wide open. We've actually used over 50 artists in our comics today, and all of them, or most of them, were found through channels such as DeviantArt and Facebook. So I encourage artists or people interested in the project to follow us there, because whenever we have openings or needs for our internal comics, I post there, and then we do open interviews and reviews, and we look at stuff. And we've done that many times, and that's how we've gotten most of our writers and artists. So that's step one. But more interestingly, Darkbrain is moving into an area where we're taking partners on. So we take somebody else's property that we didn't write or draw, and then we add voice and music to it and present it in this format. So that's kind of a new thing. And we have one title, Genesis of Aurora, that's doing that now. And then I have another title, Hazmat, that starts next month that's in this plan. And I'm in talks with several others to do that. I think it's a great way for people to get exposure because we are putting a lot into Darkbrain and trying to get people to see it. But the studio was built to promote artists. That's what we do. In fact, all of our artists, all of our titles that you look at, we cut artists into royalties from the start. So the whole concept of the plan of the site is to have artists get rewarded for what they do. So half of anything we make, assuming we make money, goes to the artists. So, the industry, so it's a little crazy, but that's the plan. And now we're opening that up now for the partnerships too, so we can add our kind of flavor to it and put it in. The only real restrictions are that it has to be content that meets similar to what we're doing now. I mean, we don't want to put up children's comics when we have a mature site, that kind of thing. And we don't do X-rated comics, so we can't do that. So there are certain limitations about what we're going to allow, and I'll review all that and, work with people on what they can bring in. So that's really exciting. And Hazmat will be the next big one to look at.
That really presents an exciting opportunity for just, somebody, maybe just a writer who just has a really great story and would like to see it in the comic to kind of pitch it to you guys and see what you can do with it. So it really opens up the door to a lot of amazing things. Yeah, I've had
a lot of that, just writing and art come in, and I'll give suggestions and whatnot, even if we don't do anything. So I try to provide some value. This whole thing is for artists. I mean, that's why I set it up.
Right, right. Are you getting flooded with these kinds of requests yet, or is it just kind of a steady stream right now?
Well, it's interesting. It goes through ebbs and flows. I think it depends on some of when we release titles because they get interest. Like when Church of One came out with Tony Campus, Raylene, and Tabitha, we got a spike after that because that was really an interesting story, detective story, different genre than what we've done before, so they opened some people's minds. Also, when we did Rashida, which is a bit more extreme than the other stuff we do, and we make that a members-only title, it's the only one we do that way. I got several requests after that. So people are like, oh, you're doing that? I'm like, well, kind of. It's not too crazy.
Right. I love
but we're always experimenting with stuff.
Happy.
So.
Great.
I'm sorry?
I said I love the voice of the detective, by the way. It makes me really happy.
Isn't he great? Yeah, that's Tony.
He's absolutely
he was in the band Static X and Ministry, and yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun comic to watch / listen to. So, absolutely. So I have to ask for all the hardcore comic fans out there, you got to work with Ernie Chan. How was that?
That was a dream. And in fact, it started with me hiring a different artist who ended up being a scammer. And I found the art that he gave me on Google. I'm like, okay, this isn't art that you did for me. And yes, it is. No, it isn't. So I had this kind of early disaster. And it was so early in the project. I was like, am I doing it? I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not a comic industry guy. I'm a tech guy. So, kind of set me back, but talking with my wife said, because I kept asking artists, can you draw like Ernie Chan? And she said, well, why don't you talk to Ernie? And I said, oh, he's not going to want to do this. It's just a dinky little project. And she said, no, call him. So I asked him, and he wrote back to me immediately. He said, well, it's very interesting. Let me know more. And I fell off my chair. It took an hour to reply. I had to get it perfect, the whole thing. So I did all that. And he was very interested. And so I got to work with him. And so what I found was that his talent was jaw-dropping, because I would go through a phase of concept art, or I'd say, hey, here's what I want. I get back and go back and forth. And sometimes that would take a very long time. And so I said, Ernie, here's my script. And he gave me concept art. And I said, oh, rubber stamp. That's never happened. It was just like within an hour, he had drawn 4 unique characters. I was just like, it was unbelievable. And that was like every day for me. So every day that art came in. And then I got to go with him to the Pittsburgh Comic-Con and sit next to him and kind of watch what he does. And I've just never seen anything like it. He will draw little circles where the heads go, and then he'll pull out his ink, and then he just inks down here, up here, down here, up here, and it comes together, and he's done. It's like, I can't even believe the confidence and the ability. Wow. It's really mind-blowing. And so it's been so much fun. I got to go to his house and meet his wife, and it's been a dream. I can't even describe it.
There are so many people who are so jealous of you right now because you got to experience that. Absolutely. That's just great. Oh my goodness.
But he was one of my art heroes from the 70s. So 70s and 80s, when I was big into the Savage Sword of Conan and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I come from.
Gotcha. Now, what's going on in 2011? I mean, you really talked about some awesome stuff that you guys have going with the book mobile thing and the other comics that are coming out. Is there anything else special that we can look forward to this year?
Actually, one of the things we've done to date, we've done a lot of titles, and now we're kind of honing in and saying, instead of doing so many, we're going to do more with longer. Because I think what people really like is to see the story conclusion. So, for example, Mirror number 5 comes out next month, and that's the conclusion of that story, and it's exciting to get there. So for the next round, what we're doing is we're clearing comics in a full block. So that Locked Out, for example, has been cleared. We're going to do 5 full issues of that. It's going to go on the web in Flash. It's going to go on the mobile devices, and then it's going to go to print. And yes, that's crazy for me because I was against print from the start. I'm not a print guy. I'm real all digital, but it's really overwhelmingly what people want. They want to be able to have it in their hands. So we're gonna actually do it all now. We're gonna do web, we're gonna do mobile, we're gonna do print. So that's kind of the big thing for us in 2011. And then we're hoping to land some more of these partnership deals to get some more people, their titles out there for people to see.
Excellent. So that, you guys got a lot of really awesome stuff going on. It's a very exciting website. So I hope we can really help you get the word out here and get more fans and artists and writers to just shoot on over. That would be really exciting.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Crystal. And I hope we get people to think about digital comics differently. They're not just print. We're starting completely differently, saying, how do you rethink this?
Exactly. You really are. And you know what? I think it's going to be wildly popular. I really do. So I wish you all the best of success. And thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us today.
Thank you, Crystal.